Just three ordinary people from the hills of eastern Kentucky. We don't have all the answers, but we do have all the questions. This is the Just Add Bourbon podcast with Jimmy Don, JD, and Don.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Just Add Bourbon podcast. I'm JD Dameron.
I'm Don Giesica.
It's another beautiful day here in the hills of Eastern Kentucky. And Don, when I say it's beautiful outside today, it is beautiful outside.
Oh, it's so pretty. I'm ready for this. Bring on spring. As a matter of fact, is today the first day of spring?
Yeah, I think today was the first day of spring, guys. Happy spring.
Yay.
I'm so ready for it, man. Like everybody's always acting like seasonal depression is not a thing or cabin fever is not a thing, but it definitely is a thing for me. I don't know how you feel.
No, it's totally a thing. I'm a sunshine girl. If it's raining or gloomy, then I want to take a nap. I really don't do much. But if the sun is up, then I'm out and about and I've got all this energy. It's definitely a thing. I don't know how people make it in Alaska.
Oh, like there's no way. Like I had some family, and we had my aunt actually passed away this past week, and we had some family down from Ohio, and they was like, "Oh, you should come up to Ohio," and like this. It's like there's no way I'm moving north. If I'm moving somewhere, I'm heading
more
south.
south.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Sorry about your loss. I'm with you. I have tons of family in Ohio, and I love Ohio. Okay, I love Ohio. I just don't understand how you live there. Yeah. I mean, I love it. I love the state. I love the people. I just can't handle the snow and the fact that, it's Ohio.
It's just cold, girl. It's just cold.
Just too much. Yeah, it's just too much for me. Too much. Yeah, beautiful state, though.
Yeah, absolutely. So, going on with some local news, we had the governor come into the county this week with visiting within here in Martin County, gave the water company some money. So excited to have Governor Beshear down here.
Well, now I saw that. And I'm the Republican on here, right? So I'm diehard red, but I have to give credit where credit is due. It seems like every time that I turn on my Facebook or bring on the news, Governor Beshear is somewhere in East Kentucky, whether it's Pike County, Floyd County, or Martin County. I appreciate that. I totally appreciate that. So hopefully that money will be put to good use. I know it's a drop in the bucket for what you guys need, but every bit counts, right?
Yeah. And I was actually supposed to be one of the people there to help receive the check and all that stuff and do the photo ops and all that. But of course, I had a death in the family, so I was at a funeral that day. So I didn't get to attend. But, I know Craig, you've done a good job, I'm sure. And I'm honestly, I think there's definitely some missteps that Beshear's took. But so far, I'm very pleased with the way he's handled his job as the governor, man, in Kentucky. I really.
Well, you have to admit that he's coming back here and he's at least, shown his face back here. That doesn't happen a lot. So we don't get a lot of big politicians coming back here telling us that they're going to, recognize us and try to do things for this area. So, how he handled the pandemic. Now that's a whole nother segment for us. But when it comes to the right then and now, then good. I was glad to see him back here.
Yeah. And I think what I wonder, like, where some of these politicians' approval ratings would be had it not been for a pandemic. It's a tough situation that anybody to navigate through. For Trump, it was tough. For Biden, it's been tough. For all these governors, it's been tough.
It was tough for us, right?
Yeah. And hey, my amen to that, sister.
Yeah, it was tough for us. Speaking of big politicians, though, you could tell everybody our big news about our interview coming up.
So something we're really, really excited about, guys. We have a U.S. representative coming on the show on the 31st, Dawn?
Yes, a current U.S. representative.
Current U.S. representative from the state of California, whose district includes Silicon Valley. Ro Khanna is going to be on the Just Add Bourbon podcast.
Yes.
On March 31st at 6 o'clock. We're going to do an interview with him.
Yeah.
And talk all things politics with this guy. And I'm looking forward to it. He's got actually a book out I'm going to read. It's called Dignity in the Digital Age. And I'm really looking forward to the interview. I think it could be a big deal.
It will be the biggest interview by far for me. I mean, he has a huge following. He is a Silicon Valley representative. So that's his area, is Silicon Valley, California. He's really progressive. He's completely different from me, but me and him have made friends. And I actually saw him on the Bill Maher show. And as soon as I saw the guest come out and Bill introduced him, I just kind of put my head down and was just minding my business. I was reading something else. And then the next thing you know, I look up and this guy of Indian descent who is from Silicon Valley, one of the richest zip codes in the United States, is talking about Appalachia. Right. So I'm like, oh, this is a farce. This has got to be fake. This is another rich guy coming in here, petting on the poor little hillbillies and taking a couple pictures with the poverty-stricken areas and going out and, finding a way to strip us of something, right? Because that's what we think, right? Sure. We can't trust everybody. Look what it got us.
Well, yeah, history has showed us that, right?
Right? So I'm like, oh, I don't like this. So I got on Twitter and I just kind of was pushing his buttons. And the next thing you know, we start corresponding. And it's like him, he actually watches his social medias. So it's an exciting way to be a politician because most of them have teams of people. But Roe wants to get to know actual people in Kentucky, not just Kentucky. He wants Kansas. He wants Wisconsin. He's probably got presidential hopes in the future. I hope somebody like that does. But he's definitely an interesting guy, and I'm so pumped about him coming on.
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity. And like you said, he wants to, help in Appalachia. But this is a guy who is now making laws. So this is a big deal for us. We get to ask some tough questions and ask him, what his plans are. He's got an ideal, because as a U.S. representative, he has his base in California, but now he has a obligation to all the people of the nation, right?
It's just I'm so fascinated by him, JD, because he is so different from us. I mean, he is in California, Silicon Valley, the tech, empire of the world. He's the fourth wealthiest in DC. Right. This is not a chump. This is a complete power player. He can make lots of moves. Very smart, graduated Yale. You know me, I'm not all about that, and Roe knows that. I think there's smart people who've never graduated, never went a day to college.
Sure.
But the fact is, like JD said, he is making laws now. He wants to listen to people who he doesn't even represent, and I have great respect for somebody like that.
Yes, Steve, he is a Democrat. He's asking in the comments if he's a Democrat. Yes, he's a Democrat. Yeah. Of course, he's from California, so of course he's a Democrat. But he's agreed to come on the Just Add Bourbon podcast, and I'm sure Don and Jimmy Don are going to treat him fairly. But we're still going to be asking tough questions, and I'm interested to pick his brain. Really about the situation out there. I know they got a lot of homeless people and stuff like that, and I'm more interested to see what he has to say about some of the problems he has in his district. Honestly.
Yeah, and he specifically wants to bring jobs to this area. And people will argue with him, why? You're from California. Why do you want to take jobs to Appalachia, specifically Appalachia? Right. And his thinking, which is how we all should think, is if we build up one state and make them really powerful, then we still have these other states that are weak. So if we're all built up to be strong, then we can all work more as a United States of America. And who doesn't agree with that?
That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
And especially if you're going to, and I'm for the green energy thing, but if you're going to put federal funding into that, then you need to put federal funding into replacing these jobs that are going to go away in these places that provide fossil fuel energy. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. You can't just come in here and say, coal sucks and take it away and then just leave.
Not replace it with anything.
You can't do that. Yeah. Right. You can't do that. That's
absolutely right. Also, we have big news coming up April 5th and 6th, Don. I'm excited about what we're doing.
Oh my gosh. I am so beside myself. I'm so excited about the Martin County debates that I just can't stand myself.
I can't wait either. Put these politicians, the local guys up, people who really impact your lives on a daily basis, local government guys and women that are going to get up and be held accountable. We're going to ask them questions, ask them tough questions, but we're going to be fair. But I'm looking forward to it because I want to hear ideals. I don't want to hear about babies, mamas, and any of the other drama. I want to know what your ideals are for Martin County. I can't wait.
Yep. Yeah. And I don't care who you're related to or what you did for Grandma Harmon back in 1975. I want to know exactly how my mom's life is going to be enriched if she continues to live in Martin County. That's what I want to hear. Because let me tell you, I know I'm so excited about Ro Khanna coming on, and he's a big player, but local politicians are where the meat is in this country. That's where everything is set. You see how that is when it comes to the pandemic. You had some local governments step in and say, hey, we're not going to do this, or hey, we are going to do this. So don't sleep on these local politicians. They're powerful too. And we need to make sure that everybody hears everything that they have to offer so you can make the right decision when you vote in Martin County.
And we are hosting debates. I cannot wait to host the debate. You know, I think it's going to be a great opportunity for us. And Eric, is who's going to participate in the debate, says he will let the public ask questions. Eric, what we're going to do is let the public send questions in. We're going to screen them. Because I don't want a bunch of nonsense going on at the courthouse. We're going to do this with dignity and decency, and we're going to do it the right way. And I don't want a bunch of moronic questions being asked. I want to know about questions that need to be asked. That's what we're going to make sure gets
We don't
asked.
want people to attack any of the politicians.
We don't want a bunch of gotcha questions from somebody. We don't want that.
That's
we don't want to make anybody look stupid. We want to hear your ideals, and we want to hear everybody's ideals of where they see them leading our county in the future, and that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, totally agree.
I'm excited for it. I really am. I don't know if you can tell, but I am excited.
I'm excited. I'm a mix of everything. I'm excited. I'm nervous. I just, we're so blessed, JD, to be able to live in a country like this, to where we can even have people, to where you can have these big, gatherings, to where we used to call them speak-ins, and now they're debates. It doesn't happen in every country. So everybody needs to be excited about this. I'm hoping that the paper will come out and support us and put it in the paper and let everybody know. I'm hoping that everybody works together. This is a community thing. This is nothing to do with, just Add Bourbon trying to be bigger or anything like that. This is truly JD and me and Jimmy Don truly wanting to give everybody a voice and be able to share what you have in mind for Martin County and getting it out to the public. It has nothing to do with anything else other than that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, Steve. The public. It's going to be open to the public, Steve. But we're going to be moderating the debate. We'll be the one asking the questions. That's the only thing. We want the public there. Absolutely. That's why we're going to do it.
Yeah, pack the house.
We want the house packed. We should have. If you're a magistrate, if you live in District 2, and we're going to have your those 2 guys that are running. They're going to be, or those 8 guys that are running District 2 are going to be up there debating. And Jimmy Don's going to be one of them. And Don and I are going to recuse ourselves from that debate. We're going to have some people step in, probably be some young, smart people step in and ask some questions.
Yeah, I believe Lance Tackett is going to, Lance, I'm going to see if he'll help.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yes, perfect. Yeah.
And so, we want the public there. Absolutely, Steve.
Yeah. Sure. It's going to be such fun.
It is. I can't wait. Now, Don, I'm about ready to get your blood pressure up. You ready?
Oh, Lord. Now, look. Well,
what about these cats?
I'm not PMSing, so now's the time to try to make me mad, I guess.
Let's see how hard it's going to be. How about those cats?
Lord. So you guys, I go out and I watch my beloved cats, who I have had a very volatile relationship with since Calipari got so political. I know we've argued about that, JD, and I'm all for, the players doing what they feel is right. But at the same time, when I watch basketball, I just want to watch basketball. So I pulled away from all sports when everybody got political, as millions more like me did. But then they bring in Oscar Sheboy, and I fell head over heels over this kid. I mean, he is just precious. And I never stopped watching Kentucky. I just didn't put money toward the school. We didn't do anything with buying tickets or anything like that. Here comes Oscar, and the next thing you know, I'm rearing back up, and I'm starting to get my heart back into it. And then we lose the first round to St. Peter's. Now, with that being said, I'm a basketball girl. Y'all know I played basketball in Pigeon Roost and Warfield, and Coach Harmon tried to get me to stay focused in high school and play for her, but I was off the rails by then. I discovered boys and cars.
Right.
Anyway, so I'm a basketball girl. I'm not dunking on St. Peter's. Do not ever think that high-level basketball doesn't come out of these schools that we don't know anything about. Everybody tends to focus on the blue bloods, and they tend to focus on these big schools, but that doesn't mean that these kids who we've never heard a thing about can't come in here and wear us out. And that's exactly what happened, because a lot of it's about heart, right? How much heart you have.
Yeah.
Shut up, Todd. That is not
true. We're going to hear this story. We're going to hear this story. Because pre-game, listen, I got to tell everybody, we've been sitting here discussing, what we're going to talk about, the topic is, And Dawn said, "Well, I had not my best moment ever at Blake's." But now she didn't tell me she got banned from the place for 6 months.
Oh, I didn't. Todd just makes things up. You need to correct that for Mom sees that. I love Blake. So you guys know that I really
put that up so your mom can see it.
So I really try to keep, I'm all about local. I think that you should spend your money locally as much as possible. And our boys were in, Holden and Max were in for spring break. The girls were gone to Florida. It was the first round. So Kentucky played on Thursday night. So this is the first time that I get to be in a Kentucky environment with people dressed head to toe in blue. Yeah, and we're all high-fiving and we're all on the same team because remember, I'm in Tennessee and I'm never on the same team down there, right? We go out to Blake's because it's a local place here in Paintsville. And they always treat us real well. And you all know I don't drink. I drink, but I don't drink. I'll drink maybe.
Very sociably.
Yeah, so it really just depends on my mood.
Right.
So, and if I do, it's typically maybe a glass of red wine or my go-to cocktails and margarita because I don't know of any other cocktails. and I eat a lot of Mexican food and they always have pictures of them, right?
They look so good. Anyway,
so I go into Blake's and it starts to not go in our favor. And I'm like, oh. So I see him go by with what looks like a margarita. I'm like, do you guys have margaritas here? Because in my mind, only Mexican restaurants have margaritas. Because I'm new to the drinking scene. Yeah, because remember, I grew up with you all. I mean, we just, it wasn't a lot of drinking going on unless you went across the bridge, right, JD?
Right, yeah, you had to go out of the county to get a drink.
And you got the Boons, and then that was that. So I'm like, well, I want one of those. And he brought it to me. And the next thing you know, I'm loud and proud. And I'm like yelling at Calipari. I'm yelling at him on the TV. And then Oscar cries. And then when we get beat and Oscar cries, then I go complete pigeon roost, Eric. So now I'm mad. Now I'm not sad and I'm not upset. I'm flat angry. I'm completely mad that we well, I didn't get banned. Todd I don't know why he said that. They love me out there. And I love them. So anyway, I just got mad. And then when I get mad, my mouth goes. But luckily everybody there was on the same team. So nothing happened other than the fact that my boys, that's the first time that my boys saw me really just kind of lose it towards a basketball game.
Right.
So that was funny. It was fun night.
So I didn't even get to watch the game. I was out and running around. I mean, that's probably that's not true. We had family in for the funeral. That's what was going on. We was all hanging out. We forgot about the ball game. I was at wake. I was at my aunt's wake that night, and got home and. Of course, during the funeral, people were giving me that. They're like, "Oh man, can you believe this game?" And I was like, "What's going on?" And I come home as soon as I got in. I turned on the TV, and it was over with, and we had lost. And I was like, "There is no way this is real." They were interviewing the St. Peter's players and stuff. It was
JD. I'm telling you, when I say it was tough on me, it was tough on me because, like I said, it was just the first time that I had. Now that part's true. So now that part's true. Okay. He did say we're leaving and we're leaving now because you're getting too loud. And I was stirring the crowd up. I'm making, not only am I mad, but now everybody else is feeling my energy. So we're all getting mad, right? So it's kind of like being in church, if one of you gets the Holy Spirit and everybody gets the Holy Spirit. Well, I was about ready to lead an anti-Calipari brigade from Paintsville to Lexington. So Todd's like, Dawn. And I'm like, he gets 9 million, Dawn. I'm like freaked out, And anyway, and everybody was encouraging me because, like I said, I made buddies with everybody in there and it was a good time. But I want to say.
And all, Betty Joe, this is 100% fact. I guarantee it.
They were. There was a whole table of really pretty girls. JD, you should have came over there. There were all a table of real pretty girls and there were guys and, we were all about the same age. And then we had like 2 or 3 tables to where they were like probably in their 70s. It was a completely chill environment. Nobody
Until you got fired.
Right. Nobody was like drunk or anything like that because everybody's focused on the game. But if you get one little margarita, and it was tiny, one little margarita and me, and then I'm like, let's go to Lexington and tell Calipari off, and everybody's like, yeah. So it's crazy. It was a lot of fun.
We need to have a real discussion about Calipari, right? Like, is this guy the answer? Is he going to? You've been saying it all year, but now so here's my argument though. I don't care what you do during regular season. It's all about March, right?
Right.
So, but now you're losing the first round. Those 15th seed. We got problems, right?
I'm sorry, but we do, and I've said it for forever. But let me clarify something. It terrifies me to think that Calipari is going to retire or quit. But it terrifies me to think that we are going to keep Calipari. So I'm scared with either way.
Right.
But
right?
Yeah, but I keep saying I'm a numbers girl. I look at numbers, and he's getting paid a lot, you guys. And Rick Barnes, I love Rick Barnes. Rick Barnes is getting paid a ton of money. These guys are getting paid a lot of money for very little results. Now, Calipari has had great results during his tenure, but for the last 5 to 7 years, he has not with the talent, and it's proven now. There's nothing else that I can say. We didn't make it past the first round, and we had one of our best teams.
So you can't really deny this. You have the number 2 team in the seed, and you get beat by the 15 seed. Then you just got out coached, period, because the talent was obviously on your side, right?
That's right. We definitely have the talent. Our players are fantastic. They're always top tier. And then we will watch them go to the NBA and they'll be burning it up.
Yeah.
We've got to tap into something because the state is about to be split.
So I want to ask you before you get onto that, did you receive any hate mail from the Tennessee fans or anything?
Oh, honey, now that's part of what set me off. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. So, the idea was for me to take Holden and Max out to Blake's and let them hang out and be surrounded by Kentucky fans and my people, right? These are Eastern Kentucky is our people. This is who we are.
Sure.
So they dress in blue and we're all excited. Well, when the game starts going, my phone starts lighting up, but I'm ignoring it because I'm watching the game. But every now and then I'm checking on it.
Right.
And it was Tennessee friends and family Tennessee friends who I love. Some of them are like family. And, I can handle banter, JD. I promise I can.
Right.
But don't go after the kids. That will always cause me to get riled up. And that's what really set me off. When they started really digging in on Oscar and Tata, that really started getting me going. So, yes, I got tons of memes, and I got all kinds of go back to the coal mines.
Really?
These are Tennessee fans. We literally have coal in Tennessee, and I'm like, what? This will even add up. I mean, what are you even trying to do? Are you trying to offend me, or are you just trying to look stupid? It's the same when Tennessee makes fun of my accent. You're Tennessee. We're all
California, baby.
Yeah, I mean, you can literally not sit here and try to make money on country music and then make fun of my country accent. This is making no sense to me. But yes, I heard from them, and then lo and behold, they end up getting knocked out with one of their best teams because Tennessee's a great team.
Yeah.
They got outmatched by a less than talented Michigan team. Yeah. And I could have reciprocated, but this wasn't Thursday night. This was Saturday night. So I didn't have a margarita in me, JD.
Right.
So Saturday night, I was much classier, and I'm like, I'm not gonna send you these stupid texts, and I'm not gonna send you guys these gifts, and I'm not gonna share these stupid memes with you guys. Although they cut me no slack, and I just focused on the players and said, I'm not gonna make fun of Kennedy Chandler crying because he's a 19-year-old kid, and I love watching Kennedy Chandler play.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like karma. I think it sounds like karma. These fans, you gotta. When you root against people, that's putting bad juju out there, in my opinion. You gotta,
JD.
You want to root for your team all you want to. Rooting against other teams, that's bad.
Honestly, for Tennessee fans, it showed the newness it showed how new they are to the basketball world, because a true basketball fans know that we don't ever say anything until the buzzer goes off.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
We say nothing. We don't really talk a ton of trash until the buzzer goes off. And like last night, I had Kentucky fans texting me and they were like, hey, Tennessee's fixing to lose. And I'm like, I'm saying nothing. Right. I'm not going to get involved in this at all. I don't want involved in the least.
Yeah, they lost to the 11 seed, so that's a bad deal for them. So let's get into the meat of the program. Here's where we're having a little bit of fun. And the hottest topic, I guess, out there, other than the Ukraine-Russia war that's going on, right, is about this trans. Did I say trans man or trans woman? This transgender person who used to be a man who's transitioned to a woman has won the NCAA Women's Swimming Championship. Right. And I think, man, and I'm super progressive. You know this about me. I'm with all these things. I love it, but I just cannot get on board with this. Though I just cannot do it.
Good, thank you. You shouldn't. You should not get on board with that because you have a daughter. There is no reason why progressive people need to think that they need to support men excluding women from women's sports.
Right.
That's not progressive. That's anti-progressive. You guys are supposed to be the ones screaming about being feminist and all these women's marches and all this stuff. That was that was the Democrat side that came up and concocted all that stuff. And I appreciate those movements, right?
Yeah.
But now we have these inclusive feminist segment that says that we need to include people who are not biological women. This is unfair to cis women. It's completely unfair.
Yeah, we're not talking about voting rights or something right here, right? We're talking about sports.
We're talking about sports.
And we shouldn't be, I just cannot get on board with somebody who was born a man and not only born a man, but lived 20 years as a man, the way I understand it. And went through puberty and all these things, and his body was able to mature. And the guy 6'3" looks like, and his dick is still hanging there. Like this is for all
he's still a man.
This is a man.
Yes, he's still a man.
He's competing against women, and I just cannot get on board with it. I'm sorry, call me a bigot or whatever. I can't. I just can't get on board with it because it's taking somebody's spot. It should not.
It is
be taken away because it's not fair. It's just not a fair. It's like you said before this. It's like me and you getting in a boxing match, Don. It's just not fair.
You're going to wear me out. Yeah.
Right.
It's taken a spot from Haley. It's taken a spot from my Brooklyn or my Reagan or my nieces or my sisters. It definitely takes a spot from us.
And how far do we go with it? If we don't.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, what is next? Do we take someone who has identified as, handicap and they go into a perfectly healthy man goes into the Special Olympics? Right. Where does all this stop? I mean, and the sad thing is, JD, is I think the guy's name, the girl's name goes by Leah or Laya. I'm not for sure if I'm saying.
I read it as Leah as well.
Yeah.
L-I-A.
Okay, Leah. Yeah. So, because I don't want to come across, I'm so not transphobic. I have a transgender in my family, an immediate family member on my husband's side.
Right.
Wonderful people. It's fine with me. But you can also not be cis-phobic. Just because you want us to include you doesn't mean that it has to exclude me.
Right. That's the issue. Absolutely. You said it perfectly.
You see what I'm saying? I mean, and that's what they want. They want super rights. Right. And that's not how it should be.
And again, what I'm going back to is like, we're not talking about taking away people's right to vote because they're transgender, or even, in my opinion, the right to serve in the military. That's fine with me. I don't have a problem with that at all. But when you're taking a woman who's trained off, can you imagine your daughter training all of her life for this moment to be in the NCAA championship and lose to a man, a guy who has a penis? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Who went through puberty, whose body matured as a man, and then she's got to compete against him.
And the problem
I would be upset, to say the least.
It is upsetting. It's upsetting all the way around, because although I am wholeheartedly against men competing with women, I'm wholeheartedly against that. I'm not against Leah being treated as a human and being respected as what she identifies as,
right,
and being cared for and things of that nature. So that right there is two different discussions, right? This is based solely on fairness of competition. The NCAA has completely failed women because they set up these rules. Leah has followed the rules. She competed within the rules of the NCAA. So the problem that we need to do is we need to target the NCAA. And how do you do that? You stop competing. Females need to stop competing. Let them deal with just their transgendered movement, and then watch how fast they change. Women in sports represent 40%, JD.
That's so hard though, Don. That's so hard because these women don't have they have a certain time window, and that time's gone. You understand? So it's harder to say stop competing because
they
those are
need
4
to.
years that now I'm never going to compete again. I'm done. I'm out of college. And I'm not professional. It's tough.
Sure. It is very tough. And I hate to have to say that, but that's where they are as athletes because they've already stopped competing. Once you start competing with a man, you have stopped competing with females because you're going to get beat by that man. And this athlete not only beat the females, but he broke the records. These are records that are being set by a man that a female will never be able to break likely. Ever again.
There are some countersuits going on to the NCAA and to against the University of Penn. I think is where the athlete was from. That are contesting this win, and this has happened before where a transgender person has won a national title and they end up losing it through these petitions. And I hope they get this right because I feel like this. I don't understand how a feminist woman could support this. I mean,
they can't.
I just can't.
They can't. And we have a lot of support from the LGBTQ community too. This is a very small segment within that community, and honestly, it's mainly white liberals. JD, I've seen tons of gays. I've seen tons of trans saying this isn't fair. You all should not be in this position. We don't want to knock you all out of your spots. This is going too far. Honestly, I've read those. Caitlyn Jenner went on the media on I think probably Fox and said that that this is not fair. Who else could better say it?
Could you imagine an athlete like Caitlyn Jenner?
I mean, honestly,
deciding at 20 years old, I'm switching genders.
Right? I mean, she would blow everybody. I mean, because when he was Bruce Jenner,
he was blowing everybody out of the water as a man, you know?
Right? Yeah. When he was Bruce Jenner, he was. I mean, he's one of the top athletes that this country's ever produced. Absolutely. Yeah, that we've ever produced, and he is saying, I know what my body is like as a man and what it's like now as I identify as a female, and I can still beat you.
So I guess when I keep on talking about the voting rights and things like that, I'm getting to that it's not the same thing as gay rights because gays were fighting for the opportunity to be equal,
married and
be married
like
and have those rights. And I think I'm absolutely on board with that because it doesn't exclude anybody else, right? But once you start taking people's place, it's just not right in my opinion. I can't get on with it, and I'm glad we're on. I figured we'd be on the same page, but I figured you was probably a little bit surprised by my stance on it. But,
I'm really not. Like I said, I saw a lot of progressives when I saw the LGBTQ. A lot of them, not all of them. When I saw them saying this is too far, that it actually hurts them, and it does, because what does this do? You're reading Facebook just like I am, and everybody watching
turns everybody off from watching.
It does. It turns everybody off, and it makes them target the LGBTQ community and want to squash them again. Really, that's how it is. We're always locked in this pendulum swinging from left to right, and we have to kind of balance and sit ourselves in the middle. Still find a way for the trans to be able to compete. But they do not need to compete in this arena to where you are literally knocking women out. You just can't do that.
The only thing that makes sense in my mind is to create their own division. And I don't have a bit of problem with that. I don't know if the NCAA has the time, the money, or the care to do that. But I don't think replacing women in sports is the answer.
It's not, because, again, trying to determine fairness in competition should have nothing to do with what you identify as.
I mean, could you imagine Brooklyn getting a softball scholarship and then her being this All-American shortstop and then Barry Larkin decides he's going to be.
I would be infuriated. I would be. And did you see the pictures, JD? Did everybody see the pictures?
So let's talk about that, because we're talking about inclusion here, right? And I think this is interesting that they had two sets of pictures. One set had Leah in first place, the second girl in the third, right? And there was a second picture that had second through fourth with just all female-born competitors.
Yes.
And talk about that a little bit, Dawn. What was going on there, you think?
I definitely want to say something about that, because as the Republican and the Libertarian on this podcast, I want to be very, very clear that I completely agree with, the conservatives on trans shouldn't compete with women and so forth and so on. I absolutely do not agree with conservatives grabbing that second picture, the one that had Leah. Leah stands probably, like JD said, I would say she stands a solid 6'1" to 6'3", very tall. It's a man, okay? She's a girl man, or a man girl. Lord have mercy. She's a transgender. I'll get it out. So she's standing on her winning podium, and the second, third, and fourth females, cis females, are wadded up taking a picture on their own. Okay. The optics are what they are. Now, I don't know, in my mind, I looked at the picture and I thought, oh my God, I hate that. Because if you look at Leah's face, whether she's transgender or not,
she followed the rules, right? She's competing by the rules.
She followed the rules, and that's just that. She is a human being, and she deserves. We do have a responsibility to be kind and to be civil and to consider people's mental health and physical well-being. And transgenders have a high rate of suicide, and they have a high rate of depression. The optics, the way that the conservatives were trying to sell that picture, was that the girls took their own winning picture and they were making themselves look like first, second, and third. I don't know if that's true. I can tell you, as a girl, we love to take pictures with our girlfriends, and it's completely normal for us to wad up and take pictures. I'm hoping that's all that was. But the way it's being sold, y'all just find the picture and look at the transgender before you get really mad about the trans winning, which we can all agree we're mad about. We still need to consider this is a human being that could go home and blow her head off.
So the optics for me, Dawn, is it looked like bullying. Just to be quite frank with you,
I agree.
It looked like bullying. And here's what we got to keep in mind as we go through these things, and as we progress as a nation, as we progress as people, as human beings. It's not Leah's fault. The anger should not be pointed and directed toward her.
Right.
The anger should be directed toward the university and the NCAA. And outside that,
that's exactly right.
The name calling and the booing and all that stuff is uncalled for. It's not her fault.
Right.
But now, as far as the picture goes, man, it really seemed like bullying to me. They was excluding her. They was like, oh, here's really 1, 2, and 3. It just looked bad to me. I just felt like it was bullying.
It did. I mean, and I don't know, like I said,
you know how ferocious girls can be. You know this.
Oh, I know. And I really, really, really want to believe that they were just taking a selfie, and then that somebody back there with a camera just caught the overall scene. But it does look like it could be sold as second, third, and fourth place, making their own little picture. And then Leah just looked, she had this like very mundane look. And then that's when I switched, because you have to be careful.
Sure.
Like I said, I don't think that she should even be competing with these girls.
Agreed.
I'm totally on the girls' side, but I do not want us to look back and be the reason why someone took their life. We have to be sensitive to mental health just as much as we are to physical health. If you truly believe that being transgender is a mental illness, then you need to treat it as that. And you would never pick on somebody who had diabetes, which is an illness. You would never pick on somebody like that because they had diabetes. So you can't pick on somebody who you think is mentally ill. You just can't do that.
Not only that, you wouldn't want to cause a mental illness, right? You wouldn't want to
cause it either.
You wouldn't be the source of somebody's depression. Who wants to do that? And we have to be, like you said, we have to be cognizant of how we treat people and how they're going to take it, because this is serious stuff. I mean, who wants to, have that on their conscience. I booed this guy today, or this girl, this transgender person. I booed them today, and now they blow their head off tonight. I would feel terrible, you know.
I totally agree.
And it's not Leah's fault. It's not. It's the NCAA's fault for allowing it to happen, and that's where the discuss needs to be directed toward. That's just how I feel.
I agree, and you know, we have to remember too that in this country we have a large population that identifies as Christian.
Right.
Okay, and the people who I saw posting about this on my Facebook today are Christians. I know they're good people.
How classy were their posts?
Yes, right. Not a lot of them were classy, I'll be honest. And you know, that's why I didn't want to say anything about this on Facebook, because context is everything.
Sure.
And you know, it's hard when you're reading something typed. You don't know the context, right? You don't know what they're trying to say. But their post alone came across it. I know they're not transphobic, JD, but I could see how the left could grab it and say they're transphobic.
There's all those people that are transphobic, though.
But there are plenty that totally are transphobic. I agree. I wanted to make sure that when we discussed it, that I made my point very clear. She should not be competing, not just her.
Agreed.
Any man should not be competing with a female, period. I'm 1000%. We need to find another way for them to compete.
So I have a caveat to that, actually. I say a man, but now I think it's different if a person goes on hormone blockers at 5 and the person goes on hormone blockers at 20. It's way different, in my opinion. You know, somebody who goes through puberty without hormone blockers and has all that testosterone and grows up and is built, I mean, like that. You've seen the picture. You've seen what that person looks like. That person does not look like the competitors that was in the pool competing against her.
Nothing like them. No,
so I think it's way different. That's the caveat I will give if there's intervention with hormone blockers and stuff at a young age before puberty and all that stuff. And that person competes against the females. I think that's way different than what happened with this situation.
Yeah. See, I still disagree. Right. I think as long as we don't level up physically and hormonal wise, then we're not leveling up. Science is science.
Sure.
We literally cannot spend 2 years screaming, follow the science until it comes to this. You know, we just can't do it. This is full on science. JD is much stronger than I am. So is Todd. So are all the guys on here. Do we have really strong and able-bodied females to be able to compete with some men, just like you all have some feminine men on your side? Absolutely. Yeah. But it doesn't mean that my strongest girl can still go up against your strongest guy. It just not gonna happen. Where does it stop when they want to wrestle with us? I agree. Or when they want to box with us? Right. Where does all that stop?
Yeah. So that's what the point I'm getting at, I guess, that, you know, following the science, I guess I feel like I am in that the hormone blockers stop, you know, that testosterone that person doesn't have the advantage that this person had. You understand? Yeah. I think that makes sense. But
you know, JD, we're being attacked on all angles, though. Yeah, it's not just swimming. We've got people. Of course. They don't want us to call ourselves pregnant anymore. You know, I mean,
birthing person. Are you a birthing person?
Yeah, it's like they're just attacking women left and right, and it's very woke and it's very unpopular, and it's a small segment of the extreme left that does this, and it's just silly. And I'm glad people are pushing back on it.
Yeah. So let's press on to the next issue. I wanted to tell you about the story. We haven't got to discuss it, and I think it's worth discussing.
Okay.
Another young black man was killed in Minneapolis a few weeks ago on a no-knock warrant.
Right.
The guy was sleeping on his couch. Police kick his door in. He's got a gun. He's registered gun owner. He reaches for his gun. Cop shoots him dead.
Oh, I had not heard this.
Yeah, and I can't remember the guy's name right now to save my life. But how do you feel about no-knock warrants, Don?
I thought we got rid of them. I thought after the
Breonna Taylor.
Yeah, after
I think the city of Louisville I think Louisville got rid of them, but Minneapolis is still.
Isn't Minneapolis the one that just went through the George Floyd thing?
Yes. Oh, they've got all kinds of problems out there apparently with race. I guess it's been a thing for a while. But this no-knock warrant seemed like a bad idea to me. I know they say. I mean, you know what they were serving the warrant for? Like a marijuana drug sound or something like that.
I'm sorry,
and
but if you
lost his life.
Right, if you're inside your home and you're a gun owner, black people have every right to own guns. Okay.
Right.
They have every right to be able to live inside of their house with their guns, with their doors closed, just like us white people. If somebody kicks this door in right now, I guarantee Todd will fly out of that bedroom with a gun. So maybe we should not be kicking doors in, even if.
Could you imagine in the middle of the night you were asleep?
I mean,
and they kick the door in?
Yeah, right. And don't get me wrong. If you're kicking the door in because there is an alleged kidnapper holding a toddler or a 5-year-old or something like that inside the house, then by all means,
sure,
kick the door. I'll help.
But
you
with
kick
marijuana charge, so you're trying to find somebody selling marijuana.
Yeah. Have we not even got over? Are we ever going to get over marijuana too?
Oh,
I mean, can we just get over that and accept it? I mean, it's crazy. So no, I'm not for no-knock warrants for such trivial things, JD.
Yeah,
and nobody should be.
One of my huge upsets right now with the Biden administration is they haven't addressed the marijuana issue, which I think is an important thing because I think it's a huge stimulus for our country. But
honestly, I think it would help him in the polling because, I know Republicans right now are booing and screaming at me because I said that. But remember, he's never going to get our vote anyway. So it's not about us. And the Democrats are never going to give the Republicans their vote. It's about the people in the middle. And I'm telling you, the people in the middle
want to smoke pot.
They want access to medical marijuana, and they want access to recreational marijuana. Yeah. So, and that's just a fact.
That is an absolute fact. Yeah,
that's
so.
Just a fact.
But anyway, this guy lost his life over a warrant. It just blows my mind that we're still having this discussion about no-knock warrants. How many people was going to have to be killed on these things before we get rid of them?
I really hope that they pay his family as much as they did George Floyd's.
Yeah, I do too.
I do, because this is fair. I mean, cough it up. You've got the cops killed George Floyd. You've got the cops killed this guy. Yeah. Cough it up each and every time.
Absolutely.
So no, that's awful.
Some more big news coming out of Tampa Bay this week.
Yes, I saw everybody was on fire about that. So
it sounds like Tom Brady's coming back for season number 23, I think, or 24, which is insane.
Him.
What did you have to think? What do you think about it? Do you think it's a publicity stunt? Was it retirement? Was it real?
I like Tom Brady, and I know you guys can't stand it, but I do. I like Tom Brady.
I like Tom Brady.
It doesn't bother me. I like the fact that he's the GOAT. I mean, we're experiencing something that we may never see again in our lifetime. I don't know if Mahomes. I don't know if the LSU kid that won the Super Bowl. I don't know if they're going to do.
He didn't win the Super Bowl. He was just in it.
Or sorry, I don't know if they're going to do what Tom Brady has been able to do. So yeah, come on back if you want to come back. But boy, people did not like that. Why did they not like it?
So, because one reason is there was a guy that bought his last touchdown ball for like $518,000.
Yeah, I saw that.
And how upset would you be?
Yeah, now Tom needs to probably get that ball back.
Right.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with things like that. Those are minute things that he can fix.
But I think apparently I don't know the ins and outs of it, but apparently he saved Tampa Bay a bunch of money by retiring for just a few weeks and then coming back and.
Well, now if that's the case, that's kind of crummy. But...
So Tampa Bay was like, we don't know what's going on. You're like, I don't know, but anyway, it's coming back, and Kenny Payne was introduced as was going to be Louisville, Dirty Bird out in Louisville.
Now y'all know I just love some Kenny Payne. I told you when we bought that we bought like this special thing that allowed us access to the Kentucky practice at Joe Kraft.
Yeah.
So we got to be with the players, and this is before Kenny Payne left. This is right before the pandemic, and it was when Emmanuel Quickly and then we're on the team, and the guy who was our host, I guess he was one of the coaches. He came up and he said, "Hey, before you guys leave, who do you want to meet? What players do you want me to have come over here and meet?" Because it was me and the 4 kids.
Right.
And I said, when they got to me, I went, "I want Kenny Payne." And I do. I have pictures with Kenny Payne. And he was so gracious, JD.
Right.
First off, the assistant coach said, "You want who? You want Kenny?" And I went, "Yes, I want Kenny Payne." And it was like this big joke. And he's like, "I cannot wait to go over there." Because Kenny was across the court. He was across the court with 4 or 5 of the players. And I watched the assistant coach go over there, and he said, "Hey, she wants to meet you." I don't know what he said, but you could tell that he was saying, "You need to go over there. They want to meet you."
Yeah.
And Kenny went pointed at himself. And then
he's like,
looked,
what?
Yeah. And then he looked, and y'all know how I am. I don't care. So he looked, and I was like, hey, come over. I mean, I totally fangirled him.
Nice.
And it was funny because, I could have met Calipari 100 times over. Couldn't care less because I don't want to meet him, and I don't want it to be true that he could be a jerk, because that will make me truly hate Kentucky.
Right.
So I stay away from him because I don't want to know if what I hear is true.
Right.
So Kenny Payne, I know what I hear. And,
nice guy.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what he does with the program.
Man, I hate that he's going to Louisville though. It's like Patino going back to me. Like, I love some Kenny Payne too. I always have been a Kenny Payne. And that he's going to Louisville is like a little salty for me, I think. I don't know. But I think he'll do good things.
But he's from, he won a championship with Louisville, right? When he was a player. So I get it. He's going home. I of course would rather him be at UK, but we were ignorant enough to let him go.
Right.
So, and we've got money, JD.
Yeah, we got Calipari to a lifetime contract. I mean, I think that's the silliest thing in the whole world, don't you? Is that silly?
Years ago, what did they do it in 2017, I think, or 2018, and then it started progressing. Bruce Pearl just got one out of Auburn last year. When we did it at that time, I felt a little bit of relief.
Right.
But now that we have the last 5 years to really put him under a microscope, because let's be honest, as you get older, you get more stubborn, right, JD? Sure. We get more set in our ways. Did you watch Tennessee and Michigan?
I just watched the last few minutes, which is all I needed.
Anybody that watched Tennessee and Michigan would see that Michigan flipped from zone defense to man-to-man. And I mean, you could never tell. It threw Tennessee completely off the rails. They had no idea what was going on. We never do that. The whole time that I watched the game, I thought if Calipari would just not be so stubborn, we would get more wins. Last year when we had Brandon Boston.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I love the kid. He's a great player, but he was as cold as ice.
Yeah.
And Calipari defended it. He said, I'm not going to take him out. I believe in him. Grady went cold as ice 8 games ago. And every time that a sports editor would interview Calipari, what did he say? He said, I believe in him. I'm going to keep playing him. I get that. Right. I believe in the kids too. Right. But you know what I also believe? I believe I believe we're not going to win the SEC, and I believe we're going to get bounced really quick if we keep doing this. I mean, the kids are clearly scared, and they need something more. So y'all are going to have to talk about Calipari at some point.
I agree. So last subject, I want to talk about these oil prices again. The gas continues to climb. Actually, it's bounced around a little bit, I think. So it's come out this week that the price of oil, the actual barrels have dropped from where they were, and the price of gas continues to go up as these conglomerates continue making money over fists. So how do you feel about that?
I'm always glad to see it kind of balance itself out, but how I feel about it is still the way that I've always felt. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how low it goes unless we start really feeling that at the gas pumps, and we're not really feeling that as much as we need at the gas pumps, and people won't care. It boils down to, do we have more money, or are we spending more money to have basic needs? And we're still, it's still expensive right now. Everything's still expensive.
Yeah. I just think the blame needs to go to these corporations that, clearly just making bigger profits. We've got, I was looking at some stuff today. It says we got like 9,000 permits to drill. They've shut down 5 refineries, and they just don't want to produce the oil, period. Because they want that price to continue to go up and continue to make money.
They don't want to produce it because we discussed it before, because Biden has been hostile towards it. And as far as the 9,000 permits
go, it's a global thing, though. It's not like it's just
it's a global market. It's definitely multifaceted. But to say that the president doesn't have anything to do with it is just simply not true.
Well, it's very little, in my opinion.
And even experts have said, yes, rhetoric matters, policies matter, those things matter. But I hope it balances out. I don't want to sit here and root against Biden, just like I didn't think the liberals should root for the country to collapse under Trump. We've got to remember what we're fighting for here. And what we're fighting for is our children to be able to have jobs and opportunity and be able to live good lives, not fight with your local Democrat or your local Republican.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. So yeah, I think that's about it for us, Don. I think we covered about everything we looked to cover, and I had a good time. I think that was a good show. Hope everybody enjoyed themselves. And Betty Jo Hill says freedom.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Hey. Be sure to like and
freedom!
Share. That's right. Be sure to like and share. Make sure that we start talking more about the debates on Facebook. JD and I will start sharing stuff on the podcast. Let's get everybody stirred up on that. Hey, Glenn.
And we're going to start, getting solidifying times and slots for these debates and starting to get people circled in. And those will be coming within the next week. Yep. So everybody be paying attention, looking forward to that. And we want everybody out to do debates. First off, Rocana, mm-hmm. March 31st, Just Add Bourbon podcast right here on Facebook, 6 o'clock. It's a big deal, guys. Check it out.
So excited.
A lot of big crowd coming in here and checking it out. So you guys join in with us. You got questions for Rocana, the Democratic representative from California. Don't be afraid to fire away in the comment section, guys. We'll get after it.
Yeah.
And Glenn, you always, man.
Just a little late.
Glenn.
But that's okay.
Eric says he's ready for debate. I'm going to tell it like it is, he says. So let's get it on. We're ready to hear it.
We're always glad you guys are here. Make sure you check out Roe's Facebook and his Twitter just to kind of get an idea of who he is and his website, because it's going to be completely different. Now, JD is going to be in his element. Are you excited, JD?
I'm excited. I'm going to have somebody that I can line up with here. So be nice for a change.
JD is going to have a friendly face. He's going to have a progressive, somebody who he agrees with 100% probably ideology with. But
no, I'm actually looking forward to asking him about the transgender stuff, because I want to see where he comes down on that side.
Yeah, but for me,
that'll be interesting.
And I'll always be. I don't mind. I like hanging out with progressives. You cannot stay in just your own echo box. And progressives are bad for that. They need to get out and be friends with Republicans.
Well, that's true. But now I live here in East Kentucky, so you can't tell me that the Republicans aren't bad for
that. You're completely screwed. You're completely screwed. But I'm talking about like my friends in Knoxville. They only they stay in their echo chamber and they stay in their tribe and they laugh at the other tribes.
Diana, we will definitely remind you on Facebook.
Hey, Diana.
Don't forget. We'll make sure that everybody knows what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he always has a friendly face. I'm sure you're talking about me, Betty. I appreciate you. Just say I'm handsome. It's fine.
That's right. She will. She brags. She's all the time telling me to be nice to you.
Glenn just loves our accents. We love your accent too, Glenn. Yeah. Like, I don't feel like I have an accent, bro, so I don't know what you're talking about.
I dive into mine sometimes.
No, I definitely,
anymore,
have accents.
Yeah, for sure. I hope Roe can understand us, JD.
Yeah,
maybe we should.
I'm really going to have to concentrate and slow down and enunciate, because Roe is going to be like, "What are you saying, bro?"
Yeah, he may be.
Absolutely.
I haven't got to talk face to face with him. It's only been over email and stuff. And they're so nice. All of them are so nice. And guys, they were so different than us. And that's why I love reminding people to get out of your box. Get out of your box, because
easy. It's so easy to stay here.
So easy. You're missing some of the best people you will ever meet. Are me and Roe going to ever be like-minded on 100% of things? Probably not even 25% of things. Right. But as far as a person, these people are great. So
look at me. I'm amazing.
That's the same with Republicans. They're great people too.
Here's something that people don't know about me and you, Don. I haven't seen Don in person in almost 30 years.
Ever. I know.
It's been 25, I know.
Do people ask you that? Because they ask me.
No, I've not had anybody ask me that yet. But I'm looking forward to seeing you and hugging you and for the debates. I can't wait to see you. I'm close with Dawn because of the show, but I'm not even laying eyes on her in real life.
Yeah, honestly, everything's been over Zoom. So because of the I came on during the pandemic, and everything's been over Zoom. But we have lots of live shows that we're getting ready to kind of put in the pipeline. You guys will be able to come out and watch us on stage. Jimmy Don will be back.
Yeah, Jimmy Don's just absent because he's campaigning.
Yeah,
he's running for a District 2 magistrate. Got a lot of good people running for District 2 magistrate. But I'm riding with Jimmy Don. That's you get out, vote District 2. Y'all vote for Jimmy Don Kerr.
Yes.
That's
so we definitely need y'all to come on while it's just me and JD especially, and kind of help us along. Throw us in the comments what you want to hear, what you want us to discuss. Just listen. If you hear me and JD start fighting, you all have to break us up because there's no Jimmy Don.
Yeah, we'll go forever. We'll just argue.
Yeah, there's no Jimmy Don, so you guys are gonna have to like facilitate some. So.
All right, Don. I think we're going to wrap it up.
Okay,
appreciate all you guys in the comments. Listen, all you guys that are here watching live, do us a favor and share this thing on Facebook. It really helps us, get views, and it helps us. We hope to get sponsors very soon. And I appreciate everything you guys showing up on Sunday evenings and hanging out with us.
Right. Love y'all.
All right. So no matter how bad your week's been or how bad your day's going, if you just add bourbon, it always gets just a little bit better. We'll see you guys next Sunday.